And we're live right here on Fight Court as usual, week after week. Me, Dean Thomas, and Ryan is not here today, but that's okay. We don't need him anyway. He's pretty much useless anyway. But I got a special guest, victorious at UFC 309, knockout over Mickey Gall, and it gives me great pleasure to bring him in. Ramiz Brahimaj. What's going on, man?
How we doing, brother?
It's good, man. It's all good. So I gotta know, man. I heard the stories about you hanging out because you're from the Bronx.
Oh yeah, I'm in the Bronx.
Are you in the Bronx right now?
Of course, baby.
You sound like it. You sound like you in the Bronx. Hold on, wait a minute. So I need to hear this origin story, even before we get into you hanging out outside Madison Square Garden. I want to get into the origin story. So you're from the Bronx, but you train and live in Dallas now. Give me the background.
So my family, they immigrated here from former Yugoslavia, Kosovo. And my father came here probably in 87, I want to say. And my mom came in 91, and then they had me. I was born in 92. And we just stood in the Bronx. We were really poor, man. We didn't have no money, so we couldn't move too far. You know, we were on food stamps and all that good stuff. And New York City Housing Authority, baby, is the best recipe.
I know.
So it was good though. I studied here for a long while. I moved to Texas in 2007. My dad had some good opportunities, so he decided to move the family out to Texas. I had the opportunity to go to high school out there, and then in high school, I actually started to train MMA. The first place I ever stepped foot in, it was a boxing gym here in the Bronx. It's called Morris Park Boxing Gym. I'm actually probably going to head out that way, I think tomorrow maybe, get some training in the morning out there. It's one of my first gyms that I ever stepped foot in. So that's where my love for fighting really kicked in. The Bronx is the biggest reason.
So you started boxing in the Bronx. So yes. You don't come from a wrestling background.
No, that's crazy, right? All my wins are by submission. And then I remember I stopped by the Morris Park Boxing Gym right before my fight a couple days ago. You could ask some of my cornermen that were with me. And one of the guys there remembered me, and he's like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Why you submitting these dudes? He's like, you got hands, dog. Let them bitches fly.
That's crazy. So I thought you came from a wrestling background.
No. Craziest thing in the world is, man, believe it or not, I actually started boxing. That was the first thing I ever did.
So then, all right, so in 2000, all right, so you started boxing in the Bronx. You moved to Dallas in 2007. And then when did it pick back up for you?
So I want to say probably around 2009. Mm-hmm. I just started to dabble in MMA. You know, I wanted to do wrestling, but I remember the wrestling coach approached me in high school, but I was like, man, that's, no offense to the...
No, I know.
I was like, those singlets, they look a little fruity to me. I was like,
dog, that's the reason why I didn't wrestle.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, oh, man, you got a good base. You're a big kid, you'll do real good in wrestling. You'll do real good in wrestling. But I was like, man, these dudes look kind of fruity, and they keep grabbing each other, and they got their, their meat all over the place and all that. I don't really agree with that kind of stuff. But then I remember I met a dude in Rockwall, actually, Mike Wright. He was a great guy. And I remember I started training. I was doing kickboxing, and then he was teaching catch wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first submission I ever learned was the guillotine. And I remember I was just like, yo, I love jiu-jitsu, man. I was like, this stuff is crazy. I was like, I could put somebody to sleep without even punching them, So I was like, let's do it. And then I started grappling, and then fast forward a little bit after high school, I did a couple grappling tournaments. I joined the Army, and I think I was like 19 years old. I was U.S. Army Reserves. I went to basic training in AIT in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And I remember my coach at the time, he gave me a call, and he's like, it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks before I graduated. And he goes, he's like, hey, man, you're about to graduate. He's like, you're in pretty good shape, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, you want to fight amateur in Louisiana? It was like on a whim, He's like, it's going to be a month away, so you're going to come back. You're still going to have like 2 weeks of preparation time and stuff. He's like, you down? I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. I hang up the phone and I'm like, man, what the hell did I just agree to? I was like, I'm fighting in a month in Louisiana. So I called my pops. I'm like, yo, pop, I'm about to fight. He's like, what do you mean fight? I was like, I'm gonna fight amateur in Louisiana. He's like, all right, do it. And then I hang up and I'm like, all right, whatever. And I'll never forget. I go to Alexandria, half the carpet's missing, toilets like won't flush, and a cigarette burns on the bed. I fought at the Alexandria Hotel, and that day forward, man, I was like, I'm doing this till the wheels fall off.
You was hooked, huh?
I was hooked. No, I swear,
Yeah.
Dean, I TKO'd the guy in the second round. And he dropped me at the end of the first. I dropped him at the beginning of the second, took his back, and just started going to town.
Well, write that in there. If you get dropped at the end of the first and you come back in the second still fighting, you know you was born for this.
No, 100%. I told myself,
right,
I remember, Dean, listen to this. This is Louisiana for you. So the chick that was the ring card girl, you could tell she had a C-section because she had the scar there, right? I warmed up in the kitchen. Dean, listen, I warmed up in the kitchen and we're walking out. And then the dude goes, he's making like something like the chef. He's like, hey, man, good luck out there. Knock that dude out. And I'm like, I got you. 100% I got you. We had to sit on, they had this little thing that they would roll the fire hoses up with because they didn't even have chairs for us to sit in between the rounds. Legit. That's the best.
Oh, hell no. Hey, man.
I love Louisiana for that,
yo,
man.
But that's how you cut your teeth and know that that's what you made of. Because a lot of people want to go straight to Madison Square Garden, but they never been in Alexandria.
Hell no, man. I was in Alexandria. I fought in a ring before where we had ropes in 2014. I had one fight in a ring, so I could check that off the bucket list.
Yeah, there you go.
In the ring, and we warmed up, man. The craziest thing was for my last amateur fight in Texas, in Arlington. It was like this. We had a sheet, like a fabric sheet that was cutting me and my opponent, and I was hearing him. He was like screaming, throwing kicks. Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, damn, this dude's crazy. So we went out there. I ended up beating the dude in the decision. And we were just warming up right next to each other. We only had a sheet covering us. Just yeah, man. Those are the best memories, Dean. And I know you have so many of them.
It is, man. You're right. It is like you have to. I feel like you have to go through that stuff. Oh, I feel like Bo Nickel didn't have to go through. I mean, he wrestled, so like he had his journey. He had his journey. But because he never had to go through fighting in these little shit organizations, that's why he's suffering. That's why he's getting booed. Because he never had to go through this.
Hey, Dean, on my pro debut, I fought in Abilene and in Texas, right? So they had us at a La Quinta, okay? It was right off the highway. Same thing. I swear to God, I thought Cartel ran this whole La Quinta, man. That stuff was so ran down. They gave me, the dude he gives me $65 in cash. He's like, hey, here's your per diem. I was like, oh man, hell yeah, let's go. I remember like right after the weigh-ins, I ate McDonald's. Crazy, man. I had a Big Mac right after the fight with that same because I only won $250. I only won $250 for my pro debut. And I'll never forget. I had ordered like 30 Doritos Locos tacos. I was smashing them, dude. Nobody could tell me anything else.
That's what's up, man. So tell me how you got hooked up with Safe Saud.
So my trainer at the time, Mike Wright, he was like, hey, look, he's like, listen, he's like, there's not really many dudes that, I could have you train with over here. Because I was only training with 35ers and 45ers. The technique was incredible, because lighter guys, man, that's all they got is technique.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if you really want to learn fighting, jiu-jitsu, anything like that, learn from a lighter guy. Because he's going to teach you everything. A big dude, he'll just show you how to muscle out of things,
Yeah.
And he'll be like, you just got to bench press the dude off you. You're going to be good. But the little guys, man, they show you all the techniques, the deep half and all that other crazy stuff that will help save your life, And I remember the dude, Mike, he goes, he's like, look, there's a dude out there in Dallas. He's kind of intense. He's a pretty, intense guy. So funniest thing is he goes, he's like, you got to check it out. So I remember I go there and I'm 1-0 as a pro. I just won my pro debut. I just got back from Abilene, Texas. And I think I was just shy, I think, of my 22nd or 21st birthday. I was a little kid. And I remember I go to we were at Octagon MMA before we went to Fortis. So I remember I meet Safe, and sure enough, dude was interesting. You know, he was like yelling. I was like, "Hey, coach, how's it going? My name's Ramiz." He's like, "I already know who the fuck you are." He's like, "Go put your shit on." He's like, we're gonna see what you're made of right now." And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, damn, bro, I just came here to train, you know, like what's going on? I thought I was back in basic training again, Dean.
I can. He's something else, man.
He
So
is.
so how's the relationship with him now? Did he calm down a little bit for you, or is he still as intense?
I mean, he's definitely calmed down a lot. You know, God bless him, and I always say that. You know, he is an amazing human at heart. I know sometimes he doesn't have the best. He doesn't deliver things the best way, you know. But at his heart, he has a heart of gold, you know. And I have a lot of respect and admiration for the guy, and it's always going to be that way, you know. Like I said, sometimes he doesn't know how to deliver things, and it rubs people the wrong way and everything like that. But I know him. I know him on a very personal level. He's a very great human being, and I think he's definitely calmed down a lot more. But he has to, man, because you can't blood pressure and all that stuff as you get older, man. There's only so much that there's only so many oohs and ahs that you can scream at people before Father Time catches up, and it's like, hey, man, you ain't a 25, 32-year-old guy no more that you could yell this much,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he's
no
definitely
doubt.
he's definitely calmed down a lot, and it's good to see, because I don't want to see him yelling that much no more.
Well, he was telling me, and this is when I had a great amount of respect for him, is he was telling me about his process, and it's not necessarily even developing you guys as fighters. He wants to see you guys have a life.
Yeah, for sure,
Right.
100%.
So, he talked about Damon Jackson, who, obviously just retired, but he said he helped him get his school going, and he's got a great life, and that's really what's more important for him.
Of course, brother. Because listen, Dean, you know it better than anybody else. This journey is very temporary. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You know, like I was saying to the media the other day, I swear to God, Dean, if it wasn't for this and for this, I was gonna retire over a year ago because of my injury. I didn't see, like, I wasn't seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? But I just kept telling myself, I was like, just one more step, just one more step, just one more step. Push. It's okay. Just push. It's okay. We're still young, because I have a timer in my head. I know when I think the end of the journey is going to be for me. Um, Hopefully, obviously you
Mm-hmm.
never know. You always tell yourself what you want to do, and then life gives you a completely different course. But for me, I just told myself, I was like, one more step, and it's one of those things, It is true, you do want to have a life after this, and you do want to plan accordingly, and you also have to adapt. That's the craziest thing, and you know that too, Dean. Listen, man, you guys, in my opinion, the oldest generation of fighters, you guys are crazier than we are.
Yeah, we probably were
No,
because we
no,
had
no. You
we
probably
had
were
no we
spot
had no
on, because
future.
you
We didn't
guys
know where it
didn't
was
know
going.
nothing. You guys
Yeah.
had no idea. You're like, yo, bro, we're fighting for like $800, and we don't know what's going on. You guys, all for the glory. Obviously, it was a different time and a different day and a different age. But I always tip my hat to the older guys, because you guys paved the way for us. You guys did not know MMA was gonna be this. Nobody knew.
No one knows.
Nobody knew. But I think that's the thing that makes it so special. And I look at some of these younger fighters nowadays. I don't want to sound old, right? Like the wise owl over here. But you look at a lot of these young fighters nowadays, man, and they forget, like, all the dudes who had to cut their teeth
Yeah, they have
now.
no idea. They have. I mean,
No.
you talking about 2014? Like that's 10 years ago, and that's still back in the day. Some of these
Yeah.
young guys, just coming out like last year, they have no idea.
Now, I was the baby man when I started fighting, to be honest with you, Dean. I was young, man. I was young when I started. My pro career started. I was young. I was young when I was an amateur. I was competing in grappling tournaments and doing all the smokers at like 16, 17, man. So I'm not trying to say like I'm an OG and all of this stuff, but I've been definitely cutting my teeth for a while doing this stuff, and it's good. Thank God I'm starting to see it slowly pay off, and I want to keep the ball rolling from this point, and I just want to stay healthy. That's the most important
Yeah,
thing, and
yeah.
I
So
know as long as
what
I
was
stay
the
healthy, I'll
injury?
enjoy this.
What was
I
the
had
injury?
I had severe spinal stenosis, and my neck, man. It was after one wrestling practice. The next day, I woke up and I was like, "Damn, man! I tried to get a massage, because sometimes, like, when you wrestle, sometimes your rib will pop out. I thought it was a
Hmm.
rib injury. I thought I popped my rib out because I'd done that before. Because I was having trouble breathing, like I couldn't take a deep breath because it was right by my rhomboid.
Hmm.
And I remember I was like trying to like flex my back, roll my back out, everything like that. And I remember I went to go get a massage the next day, and I remember I was getting a massage. And this is the first time in my life that I ever just stood up from a massage. I was like, yo, I can't do this. There's no way. I got up 5 minutes into the massage. I paid the massage and I was like, yo, I'm out of here. I can't do this. There's no way. There's no way. And I left. And I remember I was in so much pain and it just progressively got worse. So I remember about like 3, 4 days after that massage, my arm hitched up like this. And I couldn't set my arm down. I just could not relax it at all. And I remember I was trying to spar, and I was like, man, I just can't do this. I had a fight coming up, and I was like, I just can't do this. I remember I told Safe, I was like, look, man, I'm really messed up. I was like, I need to see a doctor or something. So I remember it just got worse. And I remember like I couldn't really grab as much. That's what I knew it was bad because I could not grab. I remember I
Damn.
felt so weak. Like we were when I was doing my physical therapy, they still have my numbers over there. On my left hand, I have about 150 pounds of squeeze force, right?
Hmm.
My right, I swear to God on everything I love, 23 pounds.
Damn.
I could not,
That's
Dean.
crazy.
Dean, I swear to God, I thought my life, I was like, man, I was like, bro, I gotta think about life from a different perspective now. And I remember like my whole arm within 2 weeks atrophied. I
Mm.
didn't even have the horseshoe, nothing, nothing. It was just flat. It was flat, completely flat. I felt like that dude off Scary Movie. Hold my hand, you gonna fall, hurt
Yeah.
yourself. That's how I was walking around the house, dude.
Oh man, yo, that's crazy. So, so what was was it surgery or
Man,
specific?
I think I had three three spinal shots, and I had a trigger point injection. And I was doing PT about 4 times a week.
Damn,
And it took me a while, man. To be honest, just to get back to like 70%, it was about 6 months.
damn, no kidding.
Yeah, man. It was such,
So
I
that's
swear to
yeah.
God, during that whole process, it's crazy because I still have the notes on my phone. I was getting ready to write a retirement letter.
Mm,
Dead
damn,
serious, Dean.
no
I
shit.
was so ready. So ready.
So so what was the kind of the catalyst? It was like, wait a minute, it's getting better. I think I can do this. What was that
Man,
moment like?
I don't know if I'm stupid or what it is,
Well,
but I
you
was just
right.
like, you know what? I was like, listen, I was like, wait a second. I was like, I haven't even started my second contract. And I remember I just had a conversation with myself. It was one of those moments, it was like an epiphany. And I was sitting in my room one day, I'll never forget. I just got home, I was sitting in my room, and I washed my face. I was looking outside the window. I was just looking. I was looking at birds. They were just. It was a cardinal had come. Like I don't know if it was a sign from God or whatever it was, but I remember I was just looking at a cardinal, and it was just flying. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, man, this bird is free. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, man, like how much stuff this bird had to go through just to be able to fly, to get out of its nest. It could have
Mhm.
fallen, it could have done anything. And in my head, I just used it and I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm ready yet. I don't think I'm ready. I'm still 30 years old. And I remember, I don't know what it was, right, Dean? So I leave my room and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to retire. I'm like, I'm not going to retire. And I remember, I swear to God, there were a few things, signs were coming to me. It was I think Bilal, he had just beaten Gilbert Burns, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Newark, New Jersey, because that's when I went to go watch Kennedy fight. And I remember I was with my cousin, and we were in Newark, and we were coming back to the city, right? And I'll never forget. I just sat there and I was like, you know what? Bilal is 34, 35 right now, right? And he's putting in all this work. And I'm looking at the ages of the champions. And I'm like, man, these dudes. And then I look at their records. I look at a lot of things, right? So I start observing. And in my head, I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, this is just MMA. You got to go through so much shit before you get to the top, you know? You look at Poirier when he got knocked out by McGregor. You look at Bilal when he got knocked out by Luque. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
writes these dudes off, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then it makes it all the more special once they start to come back. So I told myself, I was like, you know what? I was like, if you push through this, I was like, I promise you something big is gonna happen. Just trust it. Just trust it. Just keep training. Just keep doing this. Something big is gonna have to happen. You know, you're just gonna make leeway, something's gonna happen. Because I was like, listen, if I give up now, if I stop now, right, my story's not gonna mean shit. Nobody's gonna care. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
it's all right. You know, you gave up. You were 2-2 in the UFC. Blah 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 blah, whatever, whatnot. And then I came back. Obviously, things didn't go my way back in May. There's a lot that I could have done differently. And moving forward, this whole last camp, I changed everything up. My mind, my training, my everything changed. And as you saw, it just changed in the fight. And
Yeah.
I want to keep that going, Dean, because I know that I have a lot more to bring to the table, you know. And obviously, everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has something to do. But I just feel, Dean, in my heart of hearts, man, that I truly belong here, and I want to work my way to the top. I want to get to the top, Dean. I really, really do. As cliche as it sounds, obviously everybody says that everybody has high hopes, high ambitions, but I know, my brother, that I could definitely do it. I have all the potential in the world. I just got to release it.
So championship is the goal for you. Because some
I
guys
have
just
to.
happy to be here. Some guys just happy to be
No, no,
here.
no, Dean. I have to. Listen, I trained a lot with Bilal this camp, and you know, just just looking at what that dude's been through and speaking to him a lot, you know, and getting to know him on a one-on-one brother level, you know, that dude's taught me so much. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's taught me so much, and that's a guy that's never ever given up on himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dude that's never given up on himself. I mean, I don't even understand the majority of the hate that this dude gets, right? To be honest, it's not even that I train with him. It's not even from any kind of level, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, you guys are both welterweights. You're this, you're this, you're this. Beyond that, right? That dude never ever gave up on himself. Even when he started his career in the UFC, whatever Rocky it
Mm-hmm.
was, then he gets eye poked. Listen, that dude forever, he cemented his legacy. I'm proud of that dude, 100%.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
No doubt.
I truly am proud of him. But that dude, for me, especially spending the time that I spent with him, that's given me a newfound set of motivation because I realize I'm like, man, this dude's been through so much. I've been through so much. He could do it. I'm gonna keep chipping away. I'm gonna do it. He gave me like a breath of fresh air. Like he put a different. He breathe. It's like I got a different life breathed into my lungs. So I owe a lot to that dude, man. I gotta tip my hat to that guy. He's a testament of just keep going, man. He really is, you know, and he doesn't listen to nobody. Any
Yeah.
negativity, it's like, man, get away, get out of here, get out of here. And I think that was an issue that I had sometimes, is because, you know, we're all human, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you believe the negativity and you believe the doubt. You're like, man, maybe this person's right, you know? But here's the thing. If I would have listened to all those people, right, I wouldn't have done what I did at the Garden on Saturday.
No doubt. And you impressed? I don't know if you got a bonus for that, but
No,
that was a
I
hell.
did, brother. I did
Okay.
100%. Listen, Dean, this is what I said. My life changed in so many ways, but think about this. Past the money, past everything, right? When I went backstage to get to my locker room, right? There was a turning point in my life that happened. And I'm going to tell you this. I didn't tell anybody else this. I'm dead serious. I'm telling you this right now, first person.
Okay.
When I saw the pictures that they had of everybody, I don't know if they put them there for that just the fight night, But when I saw Habib, when I saw all of these guys and their pictures were posted up there, I was like, wait a second. Now I'm starting to see what I need to see, because I'm like, this is a legendary venue, right? Even the night before, when we weighed in on the same scale that Ali and Frazier weighed on, you could ask the UFC staff. I was like, let me take my shoes off. I want to feel this. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I was just telling myself right before I stepped on the scale, I was like, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. And it's just something kind of clicked, Dean. I'm gonna be honest with you. Something kind of clicked, and I was like, wait a second. Don't be stupid. You belong here. You worked here for this. If this wasn't supposed to happen, you would not be here right now. And when I went backstage in the garden, and when we drove there, everything like that, that whole 25-minute trip changed everything for me. I swear to God, Dean.
Mm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna demand more from myself. I'm gonna go out there tonight, no matter what happens. I'm gonna put every single drop of my life into that octagon tonight, into that performance. Nothing and nobody's gonna stop me. I swear to God. Saturday night, it did not matter. They could have put whoever they wanted in front of me. I'm
You wasn't
telling you,
losing.
I was not gonna lose. No way, Dean. No way. I knew it. It was just a feeling in my heart. And I think that was the first time in my entire UFC career, right? Because I've had 2 wins, 2 finishes in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
But Saturday night, even when I returned from my injury, Saturday night was the first time in my entire life that I just let everything go, my entire career. And I'm almost embarrassed, right? Because it's like, what took me this long to let go? Why?
But don't be embarrassed. Some fighters never let it go.
But I just
Some
let it go
some
because
fighters
I was
some
like,
fighters never get there. Some fighters never get there.
I was embarrassed, Dean. I swear to God, I'm still kind of embarrassed because it's like, man, like, you're training with the best people in the world. And if the best people in the world are telling you, yo, bro, open up. You could give so much. You can give so many memorable performances. You don't got to do one thing. You could do everything. And it
That's
just, it kind
powerful,
of
man.
hurt, Dean. I'm not going to lie to you, Dean.
Nah, man, that's powerful. And to be able to see that and step into your own power, that's a beautiful thing, man.
Dean, the
That
whole
is,
week that I was in Madison Square Garden, I mean, in New York City, right? I
mm-hmm.
was surrounded by people, but I felt like I was just the only one in those streets. I'm telling you the truth. I swear to God. Even when I went into the middle of the garden, right? When I entered the cage, I was like, this is my house. I was like, I belong. I was like, this is just me right here. This is it. This is it. This is it. I was like, let everything go. Nothing else matters except for the now. And I think I needed this whole training camp, this uncertainty, like my back to the wall, everything. I swear to God. Ask my family, ask anybody. I'm telling you the truth right now, Dean. This is not, I'm not sugarcoating nothing. I'm not lying to you. I'm a very honest person. I'm straightforward about everything. This training camp changed everything for me. And I know moving forward, I just don't care no more. It is what it is.
Man,
This
that's
this this opened my eyes, Dean. I'm telling you, Dean. I swear to God, brother. Not even my
dude.
own injury opened my eyes as much as this training camp did.
No, man, I'm telling you, that is where you need to be in order to be successful in this game. You have to be willing to let go.
Dean, I
And I
don't
think
think I was. Dean, I swear to God, listen to me. This whole training camp, every single day, 7 days a week, I would wake up 2 to 3 a.m. every single day. And I would be up for about 30 minutes to an hour. And I was like, man, that deep breath would just hit me.
mhm.
And then I would just tell myself, I was like, it's all right, just keep going, just keep pushing. You're here for a reason. Just keep going, just keep pushing, just keep going, just keep pushing. And like I said, Dean, whenever I stepped foot into that octagon Saturday night, I was like, nothing's gonna stop me. Just show the world who you truly are and what you can be. So I think the world got a glimpse of what Ramiz could be.
I love that, man.
And I mean
100%.
that, Dean.
Yeah.
I mean that,
No.
Dean. I'm telling you, Dean. I'm not saying this because I won by knockout or by anything, but I'm telling you, when I open up, I truly think I have a lot of gifts and a lot of special things that I could do inside of that octagon. It felt like I was home. I'm serious, Dean.
I listen. I heard about you just through random folks on how talented you are. So
But
the word is out.
why do you think I'm so embarrassed, Dean? Why do
Yeah.
you think
Well,
I had a burden? Listen, just same thing with my grandfather. I held on to burdens. I held on to stuff too much, and it was burning me. You understand? Instead of me just letting that hot coal go and being like, it's all good, whatever, I was holding it for some reason. But that's why I felt so embarrassed, because I was like, man, like, what's wrong with you? You have the best people in the world that are complimenting you and telling you all of this stuff, and yet you're still here. You're hindering yourself for some stupid reason. But it feels good, Dean. I swear to
yeah.
God. And I'm never looking back, brother. I never
Nah,
make
man.
the same mistake twice.
I think you're on the right track, and I love where you're going with this. I think that it's amazing for you to be able to step into that and be like, yo, this is who I made. This is what I'm made of. This is who I am. I mean, that's a very powerful thing. And if you can keep that, if you can keep that feeling and be able to channel that feeling in camp, and then for your next fight, unstoppable.
I think so, Dean. I
Yeah,
think so. I truly
unstoppable.
believe it. I
Yeah,
was telling everybody the same thing. Cause I remember, like, everybody's like, they're like, I was telling people, they're like, oh man, you fighting Mickey, it's gonna be, they're like, you good grappling, good this, good this, you think you might submit him, or you're gonna go to decision? I was like, nah, I'm knocking this dude the fuck out. I don't care. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. I'm knocking him out. I was like, I don't care. I don't care. You don't believe me. You don't this. You don't
yeah.
that. But I was like, I have so many more performances where I could knock people out, put them to sleep on the feet, 100% with my hands, with my knees, with my elbows. And like I said, there was an anger that I've had inside of me for myself for so long, because it's like, what's wrong with you, kid? Like, like you're not allowing yourself to flourish. And I think that I've gotten over that hump and that little, like, it was like a spell or whatever it is. I think now moving forward, I could do a lot more special things inside of that octagon. And I truly mean that. I not only mean it, but I truly believe it, Dean. I truly believe it. And I don't care what the naysayers or what this or what that says, but between you and me, Dean, I'm being serious, man. I really, really do feel and believe in my heart of hearts that I got many more memorable performances, and I got a run to make, man. I got a run to make. As crazy and as cliche as that might sound to a lot of people, I know it. I believe it. I truly do believe it. Call me crazy, but you got to be crazy in this
I'm
game.
not
You
calling you
got to be
crazy. Yeah,
crazy.
well, yeah. I'm not calling you crazy in the sense that it's crazy enough that it's gonna work. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
100%. It's
yeah,
crazy
for
enough that
sure.
it's going to work, and then we're going to revisit this conversation 2 to 3 years from now when I'm in a far better place than I am right now, and we're going
Hmm.
to be like, remember that conversation that we had?
Just hey, listen, just don't ghost me. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, come on, Dean. How you gonna show up?
Y'all brothers win get to the title and be like, yo, man, I'm not doing interviews no more.
Hey, Dean, let me tell you something. Listen to me, Dean. I'm being serious. I win that title, I'm coming straight to the Bronx.
Word, that's what's up.
I'm coming. I'll do a press conference right in the Bronx.
That's what's up.
I'm telling you, we'll do it right
Yeah,
in the street.
that's what I'm talking about. He never forget his home.
Nah, I'll never forget my home. Everybody, even when I come back to New York, I swear to God, Dean, right? I can stay in the city with my cousins and with everybody. Because everybody's like, why you in the Bronx? It's dirty. It's this. It's this. I'm like, oh, it's my house. That's my home right there. I love the Bronx. I was like, you can take me out the Bronx, but you can't take the X out of me because I'm ghetto, baby.
I love it. Well, Ramiz, man, I appreciate you, man. We got to get up out of here. But I appreciate the conversation, and more than anything, man, I appreciate your honesty.
Thank you,
And
Dean. I
honestly,
appreciate you.
no, real talk, man, because that's what it takes in order to grow in this game is to be honest with yourself. And
100%.
yeah, and if you're not honest with yourself, you can't lie your way to the top.
Nah,
But
man,
being
you
honest,
can't.
yeah, but being honest, it opens up possibilities for you to be able to reach your potential. And I see it in you.
100%.
Yeah, I see it in you. I see it in your eyes. I see it. and there's an aura about you right now. You glowing. So I want you to maintain that. I'm a fan, man. What I want to see good performances. That's all I ever want to see. And if you can go out there and do what you did Saturday night, you can go ahead and recreate that numerous times. That's all I want to see.
That's all I want to do. I want to recreate that magic. That's because here's the deal, Dean. Listen, like we said earlier, I've paid a lot of dues and I've cut my teeth many a ways. And I told myself, I swear to God, I told myself, I said, listen, I said, you've done way too much for this shit not to pay off. This is all going to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you're going through, everything that you've been through, this is all going to pay off. Make no mistake about it. Because like I said, we're crazy in everybody else's eyes because they don't see the vision. But that's fine. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're blessed enough to have that vision. Believe me, Dean. Believe me, we're blessed and we're fortunate to have that vision. And nobody's ever going to take that away from us because we're the people that are crazy enough to be like, you know what? I don't want security. I don't want this. I don't want that. If I'm going to fall, if I'm going to fail, let me do it crazy big.
Hell yeah.
But let me win even bigger because when I win, I'm going to win even bigger. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Always bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself. Forget what other people say. Forget all of that. All the greats, all of the greats, Tyson, Ali, all of these people that had odds that I can't even fathom or think of. What did they do? They just faced it with a smile on their face. They're like, so what? Let's go. You don't like me? Let's go. You don't want me to win? Let's go. It's okay. I'm going to win no matter what. I'm going to find a way to win. I'm going to find a way to win, and there's nothing that you could do about it. And that's exactly what's going to happen, Dean. I'm telling you, brother. I promise you, and I made a promise to myself. I made a promise to myself. As soon as I landed in New York City, I was like, you know what? Let everything go. This comeback, this everything is for that little kid, that little Ramiz Brahimaj that was over here in the Bronx that did not know what was going on. When we would go to sleep with 10, 11, 13 people in a one-bedroom apartment. When I would have to get hand-me-downs. When I would have to sleep on the ground with my sister. Because we didn't even have a bed. 100%. It's going to happen, Dean. I made that promise to myself, and I looked at my mom, and I told her the same thing, too. I said, I don't care about the fame. I don't care about nothing. I just want to be able to provide so much and have all this pay off so that I could secure a life for my family, for my future, for my kids, for everything. And it's going to happen, Dean. I promise you, Dean. It's going to happen. As crazy as it might sound to the next man, to me, this is a dream and a fulfillment that I have to promise and I have to give myself 100%.
I love it, man. Very strong words. Well, Ramiz, man, we're going to get up out of here. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a good night. Let's stay in touch. And looking forward to your next fight, my man.
You got it, Dean. Thank you so much for the time, brother. I appreciate it. You be safe, all right?
Peace out, man.
Later, Dean.
All right, that was Ramiz Brahimaj. What a powerful message my man had. And he's right. You got to bet on yourself. You got to have that type of confidence in yourself. And the dream may not look like what somebody else's dream is to them, but whatever it is to you, you really have to dig deep into that and find your why and your will to go ahead and fulfill your potential. And I love the message that he had to say. I mean, strong words, Ramiz Brahimaj. So if you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Comment on it. And on that note, this court is adjourned.